I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Dude, are you okay?
I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this, and I will take that ride home.
Welcome to the 34 Motorsports Product Showcase. We're proud to offer the full line of Simpson Racing safety products. The Shark Speedway is a perfect brain bucket to keep your melon as safe as possible. We carry every model and size of Hans device, and these have saved countless lives. The Hybrid Pro Lite is an alternative to the Hans device and is just as effective. The DNA 3-layer suit offers maximum protection when things get hot. And hey, dude, those comfy shoes won't help one bit when things go south. Keep those hands ready to work with a pair of Vortex Fia Gloves meeting every current standard. From 5 to 7 points, we carry every one of the Simpson harnesses, keeping your rear end right where it should be. Keep all your gear clean and together with the helmet and FHR bag, and always be ready to hop in a race car. Visit 34motorsports.com and order today.
Have you joined the fastest growing fantasy motorsports app yet? On Grid Rival, you can join leagues with your friends and manage your own fantasy team on what race fans are calling, hands down, the best fantasy motorsport app out there. F1 and MotoGP leagues are now live for the 2021 season. Joining a league on Grid Rival will make every race more exciting, more engaging, and of course, more competitive. Download Grid Rival now on your iPhone or Android smartphone. Grid Rival is an unofficial application and not associated with Formula One, MotoGP, or any of their athletes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back here to National Racing Network. Live coverage of the Indy Pro 2000 Championship coming to you from the Brands Hatch Circuit. Qualifications already underway here. My name is Chris Graham. It is a pleasure to have you hanging out with us. Joining the booth tonight by James Watson, Sebastian Kinder, two guys just running in the Grid Rival Ezra IndyCar Series race. Seb, congratulations on a very good podium finish there. But now we got to refocus a little bit. What in the world are we going to see here tonight, James?
I'm not sure if I want to say hopefully a little less chaos than what we saw a few minutes ago or a little more chaos from what we saw a few minutes ago. All I know is I want chaos.
Yes, we saw a lot of that out there at the Kansas Roval. And tonight, Seb, David Porcelli, Ted Burns, count them, 4 points separating these drivers as we get down into week number 5. Everett Paddock, 23 points back. And then it's 1 point separating Everett Paddock from John Badafer. We've got 4 drivers within 20 points, 25 points of the lead here at the halfway point of the season.
Well, when I commented it was great sights and only great sights at the end. Like right now we have 4 drivers, all very, very good drivers who are almost on the same level, and that is amazing. And I can't wait to see those duking it out on one of the best British circuits in the world.
Yeah, James, this place is absolutely legendary. There are so many superlatives that you can talk about with regards to the Brands Hatch circuit. But one of the things that we can't get away from here is this place is narrow. If you're going to attempt to pass, you are going to have to be really gutsy with it.
Nut up and ball out. That's the only way you're going to get any sort of move pulled off. Otherwise, it's going to end in a lot of carbon fiber track.
Lap number 1 going up on the board for Graham Sanders. He will be your quick timer. Fantastic lap there for Sanders. Oh, and John Badafer is going to go quicker. 1 minute 17.833. So Badafer, Sanders, Burns, Preston, Andrew Berry, a guy who's been an oval specialist. He's put in a lot of laps this week. Seeing Andrew Berry down to Gisio Shikawa in the top 5. Man, this is absolute the kind of wildness that we would expect. 38 cars on the entry list tonight, which means we will have a 19-car split. Still have not seen David Porcelli, has not gotten a lap in yet. Neither has Everett Paddock. They are now working lap number 1.
And something that I would like to direct your attention, Chris, is look at this grass and all around. If you go off track, it's an X right now. There's no trying to make issue. It's kind of the perfect. I wonder why F1 doesn't do this. Because no issues with track limits. You go on the grass, you're penalized.
Actually, in some parts, you can go way onto the grass and still not even get an off track.
How does that work? iRacing.
Yeah, congratulations. Now you know what it's like to be in the head of one Mr. Westshire who's has the same rant on a daily basis.
We're swapping quick times back and forth. Ted Burns went to the top, then John Badeford takes it right back over. 1 minute 17.590. Nagisa Yoshikawa finishing up his run. Let's pick up Everett Paddock. Just getting started on lap number 2 here. Oh, he swings it a little bit wide. That may have been the off track that ends the lap, and we'll see. Paddock going to be third quick, 118.104.
Paddock hailed the first corner. I really like it. It's really fast and all. And yeah, I mean, all of the corners in this track are superb.
Yeah, this place, there's just so much history here. And quite frankly, just legendary circuit. It's hosted the British Grand Prix. It has hosted the Race of Champions for Formula One as well. Perhaps one of my favorite sets of corners in all of racing is that run where you go down the Brabham Straight right from the start-finish line through Paddock Hill at the top and then down into Druids. It's just, you're doing everything. You're doing elevation change, speed changes, sweeping fast corner at Paddock Hill, down into a full hairpin at Druids. It really is like an ultimate challenge for the driver.
Exactly. And all of this packed in such a small track with only 9 or 10 corners.
Yeah, you basically, once you make the run out of Druids, you're down into Graham Hill Bend, through the left-hander at Surtees, the big run up the hill to Hawthorne Bend. This is one of those, we'll say, old European tracks that everything has a name, and I love that. But racetracks, please name your corners, not turn 8, turn 6, please.
Thank you.
Let's run the lap here. The Brabham Straight is the front straightaway through Paddock Hill Bend, like we talked about, up Pilgrim's Rise to Druids, down the hill into Graham Hill Bend, up the Cooper Straight that isn't really straight, but it's barely a kink, so don't call it a corner. Through the left at Surtees, you run kind of up the hill and then through Pilgrim's Drop down to Hawthorne Bend, 90-degree right-hander, but fairly quick. Down the Derek Minter Straight through Westfield Bend, Dingledale, Sheens, and then the hard left-hand turn at Sterling's, which really sets up the rest of it. The run down through Clearways, and then the big sweeping right-handed Clark curve. There's a lot there. There's a lot to process for the driver, but everything, James, seems like it comes at you very, very quickly.
It does. The second half of this track is honestly one of the most scariest I've ever tackled because it's so narrow and they're so fast. You really have to trust your car and the grip, and especially that little double apex one. And if you hit the curbing just wrong, it will launch you off into the grass.
This is going to be fun. Qualifications have just finished up. Only one driver not taking time. That is Jason Owens. He will start this race, excuse me, from the rear of the field. Pick up the starting grid here, and let's get you the lineup for tonight's Indy Pro 2000 Championship here from Brands Hatch. John Badifer and Ted Burns will occupy row number 1. Everett Paddock and Graham Sanders on row number 2. David Porcelli, Andrew Berry on row 3. Row 4, Christopher Chitterling and Nagisa Yoshikawa. Nicholas Daly, Chris Preston on row 5. Frank Wynn, Kylo Ciacelli on row 6. Row 7, Giancarlo Schooler and Australia's Jay Dixon. Mike Holler back there in 15th. Scott McIntyre lining up to his outside of row number 8. Row 9, Jeremy Rogers and Rod Eskew. And all alone on row number 10 will be the 19 of Jason Owens. So 19 cars on the grid here tonight. 23 laps in length. It feels like it's almost like it's a cross here. Spa was 14 laps and you knew it was a long lap. The Watkins Glen boot we ran 18 laps on, and that one sort of felt quick. This one feels like it could be over in a big-time hurry here, James.
Yeah, it's not as many laps as you would have thought. That's what surprised me when I saw the lap length, because this is such a fast circuit. We're gonna be over with these laps here pretty soon. It's only like a minute 20 for those of us that aren't alien class. So yeah, this may be a quick one. Blink and we're already at 2 laps to go.
So pace car in the front of the field starting to roll off here. There's that run down towards Paddock Hill Bend. Immediately down the hill, and then you start sort of coming right back up it as well. It's a very short run under the Carlube Bridge into Druids. Start to turn yourself back down the hill. Left-handed Graham Hill Bend, that is such a technical corner. And it sets up the long run down the Cooper Straight. That is not a turn, that's barely a kink. Then the uphill run into Surtees. And Seb, maybe you can speak to this a little bit. That's one of the things that makes this place so challenging is it feels like every corner is either uphill or downhill.
Exactly. There's always elevation changes, and I mean, I'm not really pro at setting these things up, but you know, you have to take those into account for you during your setup. You need to be comfortable in every corner for this track.
Yeah, James, I guess I would imagine what Seb's talking about is when you're taking a downhill corner, the car's going to get very light feeling, but you can't set it up for that because if you're too soft on the suspension, you're going to be basically bottoming out and throwing it really hard into the ground in those uphill corners.
Yeah, you really need to find the right balance on your setup. You have to. Some people even were considering putting in, kind of making it like an oval set, focusing on all the right-hand corners, and kind of like, we don't really need to worry about the left ones. Although I don't think that ended up very fast.
Field's going to make their way down here through Clark Curve. And then it will be on to the Brabham Straight. And as always, race fans, the start of this one, it's going to be all yours. Seeing Graham Sanders making the move there on Everett Paddock. That is the only change in position inside the top 7 cars, with one exception of Chris Preston losing a little bit of ground, getting a little bit squirrely out of Graham Hill Bend. Everybody going to be clean and green here through lap number 1. Slide back in the field here and pick up that fight between Chris Preston and Giancarlo Schooler. They head off towards Paddock Hill. Things are getting tight just up ahead of them as well. Big look up to the outside by Kylo Ciacelli.
This has got to be one of the calmest starts in the PM18 history.
Right?
Yeah, you know what? Oh, a little bit trouble here towards the back of the pack, I believe. Yeah, that was Jeremy Rogers getting off the racetrack. Jason Owens having a look up his inside through Surtees. Oh, and he's going to lose it. Slides into the Armco. That will be the end of the race. Oh, big wide for John Badefer. Race leader John Badefer off the racetrack. He's going to be back to 4th.
I told you, you can't go on this grass or else you'll get penalized very heavily.
David Porcelli able to get around Badefer as well. That's going to put him back to the 5th position. Oh, I love the comments coming in here. 90210, when we're talking about corners being straight and kinks and everything else, saying, meanwhile, most sport, we call the whole turn 5 ABC complex Moss hairpin.
Nice.
Oh, man. Everett Paddock, setting the fastest lap of the race last time by at a 118.85. Ted Burns out in front of the field, currently by 1.1 seconds over Graham Sanders. Taking a look here back to when John Badefer had his off-track incident here. Let's take a look at it. I think he may have just clipped the grass. Just the tiniest bit.
Oh, yep.
Ooh.
And that was it. It's like you said, James. You miss these corners by the tiniest little bit, and it's just going to shoot you off the racetrack.
Exactly, and that was the exact corner I was talking about. Exactly what I said would happen, happened. How about that?
Maybe is that blind squirrel finds the nut territory a little bit here. Oh, go back to 10th place. Nagisa Yoshikawa, Frank Wynn, Giancarlo Schooler, Chris Preston, and Jay Dixon all battling back here. This is the tightest multi-car battle on the racetrack right now. Seeing the comment coming in asking about the strength of field, 37.72 is the strength of field in this one. Man, that's pretty darn good.
With my 2K, I don't think I will fit in.
Yeah, Jason Owens is the lowest I-rated driver in the field at a 24.93. Top is Graham Sanders at 68.93, which is just absolutely ridiculous.
Oh. You wanted to say something, James?
No, I wasn't saying anything.
Seeing the comment here from Jeremy Rogers. Well,
no.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Jeremy going to be the first car out of this race. Graham Sanders again goes fastest lap. 1 minute 17.867. These guys are getting faster as they go.
It's about to get interesting.
Seeing Everett Paddock running a little bit wide there through Graham Hill. Yeah, this is, I guess, James, you're now within range here, especially Graham Sanders. he's within draft range of Ted Burns, and we saw it last week. You could be upwards of a second back and still be getting the draft. So Everett Paddock is getting some help here too.
Yeah, don't look. Everett might be able to sneak a win here too. You never know. Especially if Teddy and Graham start battling like we've seen them in the past.
Yeah, I think Everett is playing like I did earlier at Kansas.
By the way, David Porcelli, your points leader entering the night, running in fourth, 1.2 seconds back, or excuse me, 2.1 seconds back. I can read, I promise. Of Ted Burns here. Once the leaders get to battling, you're really going to see this whole group start to pack up again.
Yeah, this is going to look like the Glen, Spa, every other draft track we've seen.
And this is a bull ring of road courses. You would think that the draft would not be as important here, but I mean, Seb, the hole these cars punch in the air, they just love to suck up on each other.
Exactly, yeah, they're punching a pretty big hole, and the dirty air is not as important as, I don't know, the Mercedes car or any Formula 1 car, so that will be very interesting to see. Like, even if the track is not really that long, they can draft each other pretty well, and that can create opportunities. That's why this PM18 is so great. That's why I love it.
Yeah, one of the best cars on the iRacing platform, and I will run that fight. If you're running F3 fixed, give it up. Come over here and try. Take a look here. Excuse me.
I mean, that is silly, no?
Yep, Kylo Ciacelli getting off the racetrack. Show you the replay on this one. Oh, a little bit wide on corner entry. Nice job keeping that car out of the fence.
Europe intensifies.
Big time pucker factor there for Kylo.
Yeah, he must have got deja vu all over again. He's been in this place before. Higher on the streets. I'll stop.
The gap now down to 0.2 of a second. Graham Sanders is absolutely eating into the lead here for Ted Burns. Michael Joseph checking in the comments here. Can confirm F3 toasted, IP2K goated. Yes, I would agree with that one. By the way, we haven't talked about this yet tonight. I forgot to mention it during the Ezra broadcast. Well, we'll get to that one in a minute because we got a battle for the lead. Sanders going to pull out, try the wide line into Paddock Hill.
They'll have a good switchback, though.
Oh, now he's going to look inside. Oh, man, that's gutsy there.
I'm liking it. Yeah, I don't know about you, James, but I feel like Ted's car is less for them to drive. Oh, he dies. What? He dies. Ooh. Here comes Everett.
Ted Burns able to grab the lead back. Sanders had it for a moment. Oh, but he's going to try it again. Sanders going to be deep, overshoots. He saved it.
Oh my God.
What a save by Graham Sanders.
Wow.
That should have ended worse.
Yeah, both of these guys, Ted should have been in the grass and Sanders in the wall. How did they do that? They're great drivers. It's the best series. What can I say?
I thought for sure they both were toast.
Oh, my goodness. Let's look at this one again.
Oh.
Ho-hum. Ho-hum. Another day at the office for Graham Sanders. Oh, trouble. Ted Burns goes around.
Oh my goodness.
What is happening?
Oh, man, take a look at it again here on the replay. Oh, man, same spot. Burns just loops it. Little too much throttle on exit.
Yeah, I saw that the car wiggle earlier coming through the corner we're coming to. It looked to me that Ted's car wasn't very nice to drive around. It was very tough to drive. So, and look at that, Chris. We're talking about Everett Paddock maybe, taking advantage of that fight. And he's in the lead right now.
Everett Paddock up to the lead. Graham Sanders has recovered nicely from his little half pirouette. He's running second right up under the rear wing. John Bedifer was off track, and then as far back as sixth, he's now back up to third, but he's locked in a battle with David Porcelli. Somehow Ted Burns is still fifth.
These guys are insanely good.
Both of the leaders running wide out of Graham Hill is going to slow him up a little bit into Surtees.
He tried it. He thought about it.
Oh, man, this is like edge of your seat fantasticness going on here. So let's try this one again here because I want to get this in before the halfway point. National Racing Network's proud to be introducing our Give Back program. Basically, we're going to take 10% of all the super chats, new memberships on YouTube, anything that gets sent via Twitch or Venmo or PayPal to @National Racing Network during the broadcast. We're giving 10% back to the racers at the end of the season. For the Indy Pro 2000s, that's going to be a minimum $25. We're going to pick top, we'll say 15, 20 in points that appear on our broadcasts. We're going to pick a name out of a hat, send that driver $25. We also take 10% and give it back to the community here. That's who funds these broadcasts. Basically, kind of reduce the cost of the broadcast for them. So, get the super chats in and all that kind of stuff. So long as it's attached to the video, or if you put IP2K in the comment of the PayPal or Venmo, we will make sure that gets into the appropriate hands here. Everett Paddock, Graham Sanders battling. That's allowed John Bedifer to catch up, and David Porcelli making up a lot of ground here as well.
Yeah, Paddock is just bunching these guys up.
Yeah, Everett is not anywhere close to the quickest. Sanders down to the inside. Oh, man, may have gotten a little bit tail happy there. Is that going to open the door for Bedifer to have a look as well? Don't look now. David Porcelli's right here as well. This is a four-car battle for the lead. Oh, Porcelli.
Oh my God,
what a save.
And here comes Sanders.
Again, Sanders trying the inside at Surtees, but he's got to tuck back in line.
Let's try this again.
Each time when Sanders is trying to overtake, like his car's been getting wiggling. Like drivers have trouble setting these cars up for this track.
The second and third place cars are going to play nicely together. Team Geodesic cars are Graham Sanders and John Bedifer. I don't think you're going to see John try anything, at least not this early in the race. We're only to halfway. But that doesn't mean that late in the race things aren't going to get wild. And you still have Ted Burns lurking back there. He's 4 seconds back of the race leader. But if they get to fighting, he's going to close that right back up too.
I want to make it sound, but I prefer it's copyrighted. So yeah, I'm not going to say it. But imagining the angry colonel just here it comes.
Again, Sanders going to try it through Druids. They're going to run back down the hill. Paddock right there. Oh, he's going to force Sanders wide off the corner. New race leader, Graham Sanders. John Betaford dumps up the inside into Surtees. He's going to claim second. Everett Paddock dropped back to third. I tell you what, boys, we're only halfway.
Just halfway.
I'm already exhausted from this.
I mean, James, we literally come out of a race. We're on our fire suit, and I'm having this bottle of champagne from my podium, and we're still coming into this race like we're madmen.
Oh my goodness, what a fantastic race this has been so far.
The geodesic cars are pulling away from Paddock. Can Porcelli have anything to overtake Paddock?
I was going to say, David Porcelli's got to get around Everett Paddock pretty quick here. I don't think Paddock has the raw pace to keep up.
Oh.
Here comes a look by Porcelli. Oh, that is such an aggressive move. Oh, they make contact! Porcelli going to be able to clear Paddock. Now he's going to have to go to work here to try to catch up to Sanders and Betaford at the front of the field.
And look at this, Teddy B. He's charging like a mad colonel on a horse.
Yeah, the gap's down to 1.8 seconds, and it is closing to Everett Paddock. And again, sort of like we said here, I would imagine those geodesic cars are going to play very nicely until we get late in this race. Oh, and David Porcelli's headed for pit road.
A meatball, maybe.
I say he's got to have a meatball. What a heartbreaker for David Porcelli. I don't see any damage on the car. Oh, what a gut punch for David Porcelli. What was a very strong top 3 run is now going to become a drop week. Irregardless of what he may do tomorrow. Porcelli looks like he's going to finish, man, at best. Oh, side by side for the lead. Yeah, well, now there's now they've got the big gap to Everett. Why not go after it?
Multi 21?
Careful now, they don't want a Spain 2016 right here.
Oh, that would be amazing, but
seeing the comment from Michael Joseph here. When are you guys going to Lance Stroll us? I'm not entirely sure what you're talking about there, but
switching the camera at the critical moment.
Oh,
yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah,
That has
probably.
to be what it is.
I'd say I would think so. No, we for the most part we do a pretty good job of not missing stuff.
Yeah, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
We do not suck.
The suck is only moderate here.
Nice.
Ted Burns has the gap now down inside of 2 seconds to the race leaders. Just from that little bit of side-by-side battling.
Checking in the comments, Michael Joseph Porcelli got a meatball from the contact, so that's what we thought.
Yeah,
Very
that's
surprising.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Is it had to have been a meatball. Porcelli is back out on the racetrack. The comment on Twitch. The Helms Deep State says rooting for literally anyone but Geodesic.
I mean, Paddock is coming back on them.
Well, yeah, Paddock's starting to catch up because he's going to get the little bit of drafting help, and as soon as they pull out too wide, he gets the big fat toe. You almost wonder, was Everett, like, doing some tire conservation?
Not out of the question. And look who's who.
I can't imagine why they would try to save tire. I mean, you're not using the tires that hard, and you really don't want to let your biggest competition back in there right behind you.
Now here's going to be something interesting. I saw a lap car. Managing traffic is very important in racing, though, so let's see how the Geodesics and the other competitors go through that lap traffic.
So now working lap number 17 here at Brands Hatch. This has been everything I had hoped for going into this race. This was one I had circled on the calendar as the potential for fun. This has been chaotic. We've seen a little bit of everything, and it looks like the lap car they're going to be catching up to may be Jason Owens, so there may not be a whole lot to worry about there.
Yeah, JO8's not going to be in the way.
Would he be JO19 here tonight? Are we just going to go by car number?
I don't know. JO20 might have actually jumped into this race.
Yeah, really. Owens clears himself out of the way, so the battle will continue up through Surtees.
Multi 12? No.
Man, I tell you what, Graham Sanders really abusing the curbs there. Oh, Ted Burns almost got into the back of Jason Owens.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that Ted Burns is only lapping Jason Owens right now.
Yeah, the
That is
gap's
going to
back. It's back up to about 3 seconds here in the gap.
Now, James, you're in the position of Everett Paddock. What's your game plan to go through those two geodesic cars?
Oh, God, it's going to be hard because there's no way they're going to let you by. Just try to see if you can get, because the outside on a few of these corners seem to be the dominant way around. Try to see if you can get your nose around there, and then
Oh, what a save by Sanders!
Also, try to wait for them to do more of that. That's also the ideal strategy.
I was going to say, let them start playing and wait till they're side by side and focused more forward. You can maybe get to them a little bit. You almost wonder, is the amount of downforce that you have on the car something that's going to be critical to set up here?
Yeah, you're going to have more downforce on this setup as opposed to Glen and Spa, but you're still going to keep it pretty trimmed out. And by the way, Graham is driving that car. It seems like they're pretty trimmed out on the rear downforce.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that trade-off of straight line raw speed versus, especially in these cars, oversteer on exit and even sliding the car through the corners and whatnot. There's a difference between gripped up in the corners and sliding your way through the corners.
Jason Owens in the pits.
Battle for the top 3 is pretty good. Let's slide back in the pack just a little bit here as well. Giancarlo Schooler, Nagisa Yoshikawa, Frank Wynn, all battling fairly close to each other. There's Kylo Ciacelli coming around Wynn. That's the battle for the 11th position. Late in this race, things definitely separating themselves out here at the front of the field. John Bedifer holding a 0.3 of a second lead over Graham Sanders, who just set the fastest lap of the race, 1:17.669. And it's put Everett Paddock now 2 seconds behind the leaders.
Yeah, things are going to stay as they are.
At this point, Everett's going to need those 2 geodesic cars to start battling really, really hard.
Yeah, he needs Spain 2016.
Prontogram? Oh, usually that works. John, it's James. No, it doesn't work either. Dang it. What am I going to do if there's not a 2,000-second finish between 1 and 2?
John Bedifer having the very good points night that he needs. Graham Sanders, taking a look here, not anywhere on our list here. So at least among the top 25 in points anyway. Basically what that tells me is unless Graham's out here chasing trophies, not a lot of incentive for Graham Sanders to go after John Bedifer in a big way.
Indeed. Although we may see a move.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
He's going to be right there.
Ooh.
Oh, man, that was tight.
Last thing they need is to Graham to punt Bedifer out of the way.
I mean, now Graham is not going to make a big iRating donation here, but that is a point of pride. When you're up in the 6,800 range, even losing 1 spot to a teammate, these guys they get a little antsy about the iRating here as we see the white flag and 1 to go.
Oh no! Forget about this. He's in the gravel.
Yeah, and didn't lose much. How's that for a set? Good Lord, kept his foot in it the entire way, and it only cost him a couple of car lengths.
I need to examine this car. That was normal. I've seen those cars in technical inspection.
John Bedifer leading this race at the halfway point of the final lap. Early in this race, he was off track right here down the hill. Bedifer started on pole and gave it up on lap 1, clawed his way back. Checkered flag is in the air, and John Bedifer gets the win at Brands Hatch. Graham Sanders going to come home second, third to Everett Paddock. Fourth tonight will belong to Ted Burns.
Well, that was a more calm race than what we're used to. Not that I complain.
You call that calm?
Well, compared to what we've just been through, James, I call that calm.
You know what? We basically saw what I kind of figured we would get here at Brands Hatch. Tight racing, good show all the way through front to back. Little bit of chaos, but even a lot of chaos early on. And ultimately, the fastest cars settling in at the front and deciding the race amongst themselves.
Geodesic team showing off.
So let's get you your race results here as they complete the cool-down lap. John Bedifer getting the win over Graham Sanders and Everett Paddock to complete your podium. Ted Burns and Christopher Chitterling with a fantastic run to complete the top 5. Nicholas Daly, Andrew Berry, Chris Preston, John Carlos Schooler, and Nagisa Yoshikawa, your top 10. Kylo Ciacelli going to finish in the 11th position. Frank Wynn in 12th. Jay Dixon 13th. 14th to Rod Eskew. David Porcelli coming home in the 15th position. 16th to Mike Collar. 17th and out of the race, Jason Owens. 18th tonight is Scott McIntyre. And rounding out the field, Jeremy Rogers going out very, very early in this race. John Bedifer absolutely burning them down here. We'll see who we're going to be able to get for the victory lane interviews here. But, man alive, I'll tell you what, guys, that was an absolutely perfect way to round this out here. Great show, and as always, Bedifer, Sanders, Paddock, Burns, Porcelli, those 5 guys were up front and really putting on a show.
On the show as always. That was a better race than we were expecting. I was expecting a lot more strung out single file racing. I did not expect to see a lot of the moves that we saw and some of the incidents that we saw too. There was some uncharacteristic mistakes from a lot of fast guys that I don't think any of us were counting on.
It's crazy how like John and Teddy they did those big mistakes and they still were able to come back to strong positions.
Yeah.
Well, it was an absolute blast of a race. Let's kick off our victory lane interviews here with our third place finisher tonight, Mr. Everett Paddock. And I'll tell you what here, Everett, we had a really fun show here. You ran up front. Tell us about the night from your perspective.
Yeah, I just needed a few more mistakes from my competitors, right? I took advantage of a couple, but I just couldn't make it stick. So it was, all in all, to come away third, I'm pretty pleased with that. That's a little better than probably I deserved.
It seemed like, I don't know if your car had a little bit more downforce, if there was a little something different in the setup. You were able to stay in front of those guys, but once they were able to come past, there just wasn't enough top end in the car to really catch back up.
It was a little bit of that. It was also probably a little bit of aero wash that I was struggling with, right? And this track is so, you make one mistake, you pay for it here.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, it was a heck of a show that you put on here. Watching you guys abuse track limits and everything else was a ton of fun. What do you think here? This is the first time we've been to Brands in several seasons now.
Yeah, that it actually raced better than I thought. I mean, it takes a lot to pass somebody here, right? And I got passed a bunch, but so I was surprised how well it raced. I mean, I'd say this is that I love racing. I love lapping this track, hot lapping this track. Racing it's a little bit scary.
Well, thank you very much, Bud. We appreciate you coming in here to check in with us, and let's make sure we get all your thank yous and plugs in before we let you out of here.
Yeah, I just want to thank my teammate Scott. We worked together this week. It was good stuff. I appreciate the broadcast team. It was a lot of fair racing. I'm really bummed that David and I came together. He's a guy I really like to race, so I'm bummed that we hit. I'll have to take a look at that a little closer to see what happened there. But it was a good close racing, I think, and I want to congratulate Graham and John. They both they were tough and raced hard.
All right, bud. Well, thank you very much. Looking forward to hopefully talking to you again next week. And let's bring in our runner-up here tonight, Mr. Graham Sanders. And I'll tell you what, brother, you kind of had a scare there late in this one, but there were multiple over the course of the race here. I mean, we saw it there. You were sideways on exit. Man, that thing looked like a handful of the fun variety.
No, yeah, definitely. It was. I definitely had a few too many scares. That first one, especially, I had that little half spin, and somehow I don't know how I saved that. To be honest, I was worried I was going to collect some cars behind, but managed to get out of that one. And yeah, I was kind of fighting the car all race. I had pace, but a little bit too inconsistent. I actually didn't drive this car until today, and kind of got to terms with the car and the setup just before the session went up. So luckily it all worked out. It was a team 1-2. So that was awesome. John did a great job, especially after going off early on. I was scared he was going to go into the wall, but he saved it. So that was a fun one. That was really fun.
Yeah, we enjoyed the show for sure. We asked the same question here of Everett. He talked about loving to hot lap this place, but that racing it is a little bit scary. What are your thoughts on racing Brands Hatch here, having not been to this track in several seasons?
I would have to agree. I would say it's a blast of hot lap. It races really well, but it's still a bit scary just because of that middle sector is can't really go side by side, but I mean you can. I guess both myself and John kind of. Actually, John, myself, and I think I was side by side with Everett at one point through there. But no, it's really fun, But it's you really got to be on your toes for sure.
All right, bud. Well, thank you very much for checking in here. Let's make sure we get all your sponsor plugs and thank yous in before we let you go.
Yeah, thank you very much. Just all the guys at Geo, Alpine Stars, GoPro, everyone, all the guys at the broadcast. You guys do a great job, so I really appreciate it, guys. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, thanks, bud. We appreciate it and love hearing the kind words. Now let's bring in our race leader, John Betafer. Correct me if I'm wrong, John. You were off track and, well, almost within a few feet of junked on lap 1, correct?
Yeah, I definitely was. I was definitely kicking myself there for a few laps after that mistake. That's probably my least favorite corner of the fast right-handers, and I just made a mistake, and luckily I was able to kind of recover.
More than kind of recovering, you really put on a hell of a drive. How mentally do you shake off that? You go from kicking yourself to setting quick laps to battling for the lead and then ultimately taking it.
Yeah, I would say it took me a few laps. I was definitely down on myself, and I kept making a few mistakes behind David in the draft. I kind of just had to reset and just tell myself to be smooth and slowly, pick one car off at a time. There's a lot of laps here, so a lot of chances for other people to make mistakes and a lot of time to make moves. So that's what I kind of had to tell myself.
We saw a lot of carnage, and it wasn't just you or even the geodesic team as a whole. We saw a little bit of everything here tonight. Same question to you as we gave to Graham and Everett. What are your thoughts on racing this in the officials? And it was just both guys used the word scary to describe racing here. What are your thoughts on it?
I was really looking forward to this race, to be honest. I kind of had it circled as a track that, it's technically challenging. The draft, it has an effect, but, if you're smooth for throughout the race, I think you can, pull away from cars. The racing side-by-side was definitely, sketchy, but when you pulled off a move, it was really satisfying. So I really enjoyed it.
Well, it was a ton of fun for us to watch. Thank you for putting on an absolutely incredible show with one of the best recovery drives we've ever seen. Congratulations once again on the win, and let's make sure we get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I want to thank you for the broadcast. Always enjoy watching it back, and I'm really looking forward to seeing some of the moves on this one. I'd like to thank all the guys at Geo. Graham, awesome 1-2 finish for us. GoPro, Olmogado, and Wave Italy for all the sponsorship. So thanks, guys.
All right, John. Thank you very much. Oh my goodness, boys, where do we even start with this one? Absolutely insane show we got here tonight at Brands Hatch. Seb, I'll come to you first. What's the takeaway here, other than wow?
You know, you took the words right out of my mouth. Like, wow. I mean, seeing those great drivers kind of struggling with their car, still battling through adversity to come on top. That is just amazing. That is, even though it's the less chaotic race we have, I think this season, I think it's probably one of my favorite because the driving skills we had. Like sometimes John and Teddy should have been in the wall like 2 or 3 times, and somehow they didn't. Like Graham battling with his car and all that. They were just so satisfying to watch. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, that was incredible. We saw so many cars that should have died and ended up in little bits and pieces, and they just made ridiculously amazing saves and kept in it. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's probably my big takeaway here is that the racing was good and it was fun. At the same time, good Lord, man, this was everything we could have wanted out of this. We got to see here tonight, and it was calling it fun is about as big of an understatement as you're going to get here. Looking at the point standings as they sit right now, and again, there's another SOF race coming up tomorrow afternoon for the European time frame. But right now, the top 5, and there was a big change. Ted Burns, Everett Paddock, John Badeford, David Porcelli, Andrew Berry, now the top 5 in points. The gaps have opened up, but that's all going to change back around again come tomorrow afternoon and even with the official races running through the weekend. Maybe the biggest takeaway for me here, James, and we'll close with you on this, is the insanity of 2 seasons ago, we watched Greg Seitz win 10 or 11 of 12 races. We've now seen multiple winners and just insane battles at the front of the field. Anybody who says Indy Pro 2000 is dead, it needs to actually sit down and watch this because the racing is good and the fields are as strong as ever.
James,
I guess I say.
Okay, that's
there we go.
Weird. Yeah, anyone can win at any time, especially when it's over week and all hell is breaking loose. That's what's great about the series is that, as long as you're on the track, you have a great opportunity to bring home the dub.
Well, you mentioned Oval Week. We've got one coming up in 3 weeks. Next week, we head off to Sebring International Raceway, running the full circuit there for 15 laps. Bumpy as all get out. Sebring is always going to be wild, and we saw one of the best finishes ever in the Grid Rival Ezra IndyCar Series race there last season. Then we head off to Summit Point for a 28-lap race. If you thought this was a bull ring, Summit Point's going to completely blow your mind. And then we head off to Richmond Raceway. This is going to get really, really good as we get late in this season. But with that, it is time to get the heck out of here. We have had a blast tonight. J.W. Miller getting the win in the Grid Rival Ezra IndyCar Series race. John Badeford getting the win here in the Indy Pro 2000 Championship. A monster week here on the National Racing Network. And we're going to do it again next week. Monday night, the Silver Crowns at Gateway. Tuesday night, 358s versus Big Blocks at Lanier Dirt. NASCAR Xfinity Series cars on Wednesday at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Then we are right back here for the Grid Rival Ezra IndyCar Series at Dover, the Indy Pro 2000s at Sebring. no matter what kind of racing you like, you're going to get to see it right here next week on the National Racing Network. Until Monday night, for James, Seb, and everybody here at NRN, my name is Chris Graham. It's been a pleasure having you hang out with us. We'll talk to you all soon. Have a good night, everybody.